To actually live a fulfilled life, every man must have the knowledge of what his masculine essence in him wants from life. Because without the knowledge of what the masculine essence in you wants, you won't be able to live a fulfilled life that God wants you to live. So on our journey of self-reliance, we must know what our masculine essence wants from life. Because that is what our fulfillment in life is predicated on. Now, let me start by saying that what a man wants the most from his life is not sex. A man can have sex every hour of the day for a complete year and he will still not feel satisfied or feel fulfilled, because that is not what his masculine essence wants. A man can have 100 children to his name and he will still not feel satisfied with his life, because children is not what the masculine essence in a man wants. So having 100 children to your name as a man, that will not make you feel fulfilled in life, because your masculine essence is not gravitating towards having children. Though children are important, sex is important, but that is not what your masculine essence is gravitating toward and expecting you to accomplish or make happen. What your masculine essence wants the most is not money either, because you can have all the money in the world and you will still not feel fulfilled, because that is not what your masculine essence wants in order to feel fulfilled. But money is important, very important. As a man, we need money, but that is not all there is to that which our masculine essence wants. If any of those things that I have mentioned is not the thing that our masculine essence wants, what then is that which our masculine essence in us wants? Good question. Because I know you might have been asking yourself that if any of these things that you have mentioned is not what our masculine essence wants, what then is that which our masculine essence wants? So before I tell us what our masculine essence really wants from us, for us to feel fulfilled, let me take us back to the age of hunters gatherers. Let me take you back to history a bit. During the age of hunters gatherers, before agricultural age, during the hunters gatherers age, there was no such thing as marriage. Men used to have sex like animal, and then they will have no ownership of a child. There was no such thing as fatherhood during the time of hunters gatherers. The only person that has access to claim the ownership of a child is a mother. It's the mother that gave birth to the child that will claim the ownership of the child. The man that impregnated the woman cannot claim the ownership of the child, because there was no such thing as marriage during the hunters gatherers age. And during that time, there was no ownership of land anybody can make use of land, anybody can make use of horses that were available then. There was no such thing as ownership. It was like a communist settlement. That's, and they have everybody share everything, the same thing. There is no inequality. Nobody can claim the ownership of anything. And as well, a man cannot claim the ownership of a child. The only person that can claim the ownership of a child during hunters gatherers age is a woman that gave birth to the child that can claim the ownership of that child. Now, as a result of the fact that men cannot claim the ownership of a child during the hunters gatherers age, then the men felt concerned about their fatherhood. They were kind of like jealous of women because women were claiming the ownership of children. Men are just to have sex and don't forget about what happened. They don't have any child to call their own child. Say, oh, Michael is my child. John is my child. No, there was no such thing as that. The only person that can claim the ownership of a child is the woman that gave birth to the child that can claim the ownership. So the men, as at that time, felt concerned about the whole stuff, and then they decided to put head together and say, oh, there must be a fatherhood. If there must be a motherhood, that the women can claim the ownership of children, then there must also be a fatherhood that will allow men to also claim the ownership of children. That was how the idea of marriage came into existence, as a result of men having concern to be able to be called fathers. That was how marriage came into existence. But before they formed the institution of marriage, the only job the men were doing that time was to protect and provide for the women and the children under their cover, because that time they have different camp. If you go to the northern people are still practicing something that is kind of like likened to the age of hunters gatherers, whereby you have some Fulani having some women and children in a camp and under tent and all of that. They will be moving from one place to another. That was how it was during the age of hunters gatherers. So the only task for men that time was to protect and provide for the children and the women that are under their camp. They cannot claim the ownership of anything. They cannot claim the ownership of any child. So the only sense of pride they have is to be able to protect and provide for the women under their tent. And once they can do that, they will feel proud of themselves. They will feel like human beings. They will feel fulfilled because they have fulfilled what they are meant to do, which is to provide and to protect the women and the children under their camp. So they migrated from the hunters gatherers age to agrarian age, which is also called agricultural age. So it was this agricultural age that marriage institution was seriously stabilized. People started getting married, and when you have sex with another woman, you will be punished. When you have sex with someone that is not your wife or your concubine, because that time they still have concubine too, but your concubine must be known. That was during the agricultural age, but before then there was nothing like that. The only thing that can give men sense of sense of identity, the only thing that can make men feel fulfilled during hunters gatherers age is to be able to provide and to protect the women and the children under their tent. So they migrated to agricultural age, and then from agricultural age they moved down to industrial age, and here we are in information age today. That was how men migrated until we found ourselves in our information age today. Now, what men really want from that age to this age was buried in us. That sense of being able to provide and to protect women and the children and the people under our territory. That sense of the sense of fulfillment of men during that time was tied to their ability to provide and to protect the people under their territory. And for the fact that we are also an offspring of the previous generation, we have that desire in us. We have that zeal in us to also feel fulfilled through being able to protect and to provide for everything that is under our territory. Failure to do that is to not feel fulfilled. So the sense of our identity, right from the hunters gatherers age to this current age that we are, our sense of identity hangs on our ability to protect and to provide for the people under our territory. So in a nutshell, what the masculine essence in us really wants is freedom. Your masculine essence in you cannot be fulfilled by just having sex. Like I said before, you can be having sex every hour of the 24 hours in a day. You will still not feel fulfilled, because that is not what your masculine essence wants. You will have 100 children to your name. You will still not feel fulfilled, because that is not what your masculine essence wants. What your masculine essence wants is freedom. And what is that freedom? That freedom has a lot of things being attached to it. And one of the things that is being attached to that sense of freedom that I'm talking about is for you to be able, as a man, to look into the mirror and be proud of yourself. Secondly, the sense of freedom that every man wants is to be able to be acknowledged by his wife and his children, to say that, oh, my husband is really good, my husband can provide and protect us financially, physically, and in every way possible. Like, every man wants to be seen by his wife or by his children as a man that they can be proud of. And once a man can achieve that, he will feel proud of himself. So far as a man can hear his son, let's take his son for example, like a man hearing his son saying that, oh, if I want a car today, my father can buy it for me. If I want my school fees being paid today, my father can pay it for me. When a man hears that from his son, and he knows that his son can actually rely on him, that man will feel proud. And that is why they always say that every man wants respect. And that is true, because every man wants to feel proud of himself. Not to be happy, because happiness is temporal, but being able to be proud of yourself is one of the things that is not temporal, but because once you have built yourself to that level that the people under your territory, which can be your family, your friends, and your children, so far as the people under your tent can rely on you, that you can protect them financially or physically, once you can feel that you are equal to the task, you will feel fulfilled. And your territory might not just be your family or your friends. Your territory might be your area of gifting or area of calling. Once you can dominate your area of calling as a man, you will feel fulfilled, whether you have children or not. Because children are not what makes you feel fulfilled as a man. Neither is sex. All of those things cannot make you feel fulfilled as a man. What makes a man feel fulfilled is sense of freedom for himself and freedom for his family. The only person that can feel fulfilled by children or by sex is a woman. That is why when a woman has a lot of money and she cannot find a husband or to have a child, the woman will not feel fulfilled, because right from the time of hunters gatherers, the only way women as of that time can feel fulfilled is when they have their child, because their sense of self is tied to children as at that time, and that sense of self is hardwired into every woman in the world today. Women want to be surrounded by love and having children that they can call their own. That is why when a woman is rich and she doesn't have money, and she doesn't have children, she will be worried. Unlike a man, when a man has like 10 children and he doesn't have money, he will never be happy, because it's not children that makes a man fulfilled. But a woman might have 10 children, she might not really have money, but she will feel fulfilled, because that is what feeds her feminine essence. A woman might not have enough money, but when she has a lot of love, when she's being surrounded by love, maybe her husband is giving her love, her husband is easygoing, her husband is peaceful with her husband can give her children, can impregnate her, and she can bear children, the woman will be happy. She will feel the sense of self, because her sense of self is attached to her children. Her sense of self is attached to love. But that is not the case with men. Men don't care much about love or about children. They might not. The reason why men settle for the reason why men kind of like acting as if they want children is because they don't know what to like hang the sense of their identity on. Then they settle for children. They will settle for sex. They will settle for drugs. That's when they will drown themselves in alcohol. That's why they drown themselves with sex, having sex from morning to night, and that will not make them fulfilled. So like I said, it is lack of what the masculine essence in a man wants that he cannot get, that makes him settling for children. Any man that is seeing that is acting as if he wants children, he lacks something that he can hang his masculine essence on. He lacks something that he can hang his identity on. So because of the fact that he lacks something that he can feel fulfilled about, he's going to settle for children. He's going to settle for sex. He's going to settle for love. Like as Boski usually say, I don't preach love. Every man is like that. Men don't really need love. They just want to feel proud of themselves, to be able to look into the mirror and know that they are in charge. To look into the mirror and be able to see that anything that happens to their family, they can handle it. Man wants to look into the mirror and feel that, yes, I have the back of my family. I cover them. I can provide. I can protect them. So the sense of self of our ancestors during the hunters-gatherers age has been hardwired into us, because that time they were not claiming the ownership of children. They were just having sex anyhow. No sense of say, oh, now my child be this. Nothing like that. It was women as at that time that were claiming the ownership of children. Nothing concerned a man with children as at 18,000 BC ago, which was hunters-gatherers age. It was during the agricultural age. That was when the eyes of men opened into fatherhood. That is why till today, the men that are aware of their masculine essence, they don't really want children like that. And that is not to say children are bad. Children are good, sex is good, Money is good, but that those are not the things that really uh, makes the man to feel fulfilled, to feel proud of himself. So, what makes a man feel fulfilled in life is his sense of freedom, freedom for himself, and freedom for everyone under his territory, which might include his family, uh, his organization, in like maybe the person is a business person. If the person is doing well in his business, if the person is dominating in his business, whether whether he has children or not, he's not going to feel as bad as when a woman is fulfilled in terms of business and she doesn't have a child. I know of a man that let me cite this example. There was a man I met like in VGC. That was 2011. So this man and his wife, they could not bear a child for 7 years. It was close to like 8 years before they had their first child. So all these years, like from year 1 to year 7, that they could not have a child, the man was not worried. The only person that was worried about the whole stuff is the woman. The woman was worried. The woman was feeling unwanted. The woman was feeling unloved. But the man was feeling unaffected. Not that the man was not concerned about the whole thing, but it is not like that of the woman, because the man has a purpose that is giving him a sense of self. The man I'm talking about is a rich man. He was able to like provide for his family. He was able to protect his family. As a result of that, he didn't care much about the fact that he could not be able to have a child for a good 7 years. The only person that was worried was his wife and his relative. He himself was not worried, because children was not his sense of self. A man that settled for children is just because he lacked a real sense of self. He lacks his real identity. That's why he's settling for a child, and that is why you will identify those men by sharing something like, do you know who am I? I have 4 children. I have a child that is as old as you. When you hear a man talking like that, you know that that man has nothing to build his sense of self on. He has nothing to hang his identity on. So he's going to settle for his children, and then the only thing that will give him a sense of pride is his children. That is when you will say, you see me as a small boy. I have 4 children. I have 5 children. And what used to like surprise me when I see men bragging about children is the fact that even a pig, an animal called pig, can give birth to 20 children at a time, and you will not see any animal, you will not see pig bragging about children. The only being that is bragging about children is human being. When have you seen pig? When have you seen goat? When have you seen cow bragging about children? You won't see. The only being that can brag about children is is human being. And the reason woman can brag about children, yes, but a man A man that is bragging about children is a man that lacks identity. He lacks something to hang his sense of self on. So because of that, he's going to be bragging about children until he has something else much more meaningful to him that he can hang his sense of self on. But until then, he's going to be bragging about his children instead of leaving that to his wife, because there's nothing bad for a woman to brag about children, because that is what that is one of the things that makes women to feel fulfilled. So there's nothing bad about women bragging about children, but for a man to brag about children, that man is suffering from sense of self. There's bitterness in him. There's something lacking in him that he is crying for. That is why you see a man settling for children and be bragging that, oh, I have 5 children. Whereas a pig can have 20, 30 children at a time, and you will not hear anything. They will not brag. But a man, you one child at a time, you will brag. So in our journey of self-reliance, we must know that what our masculine essence really wants from us is the sense of freedom. And I've told you what that sense of freedom is being wrapped on. That sense of freedom wrapped on your ability to look into the mirror and be proud of yourself. That sense of freedom is for your children and your wife to be able to brag, to rely on you, that anything that happens to them, they have you to protect them, either financially or physically. And once you notice that, you will feel proud of yourself. And as well, if you are a businessman and you are successful in that business, you are at the top of your game, you will feel fulfilled whether you have children or not, because your sense of self is for you to be able to look into the mirror and feel proud of yourself that, yes, I did this. So your sense of self is your greatest desire, that the masculine essence in you that God put in you. That greatest desire is freedom. A man will never be happy when he notices that he's not free financially. He will never be happy if he knows that he cannot be able to protect and provide for his children as much as he wants. Regardless of how many children he has, he will never be happy. He will never feel fulfilled. I don't care whether he has 20 children to his name or 100 children for his name. If like have 1,000 children to your name and you cannot be able to have them relying on you 100% as to how you want, if you cannot do that, you'll not be able to feel fulfilled, let alone being happy in life. So don't be surprised when you see men keeping sad face. It's something that they are driven for. There's something that is pushing them. There's something that is keeping them unsettled. There's something that they want to fulfill. So I would like us to discuss what and how a man can actually find that freedom that he's looking for. But I can see that the length of this video is much now, so we'll discuss that in our next video. So ensure to follow up on our next video, and I believe so well that you have gotten something from this video. And what I want you to know in a nutshell is that your sense of self is not in the number of sex you can have in a day. If you like have sex every hour or every minute of the day, you never feel fulfilled. So don't let sex distract you from getting to that land of fulfillment that you want. And don't let the pressure to go and have your own children so that you can feel fulfilled get you into marriage that you are not prepared for, because our children cannot make you feel fulfilled. Let me be sincere with you as a man. The only person that can feel fulfilled by having children is women, not you. So let's build ourselves and then be everything that we ought to be in this world that God expects us to be. So that is it. So until next time, we'll see on our next video. And like I said, follow up, because we'll continue with this series on our next video and see how we can actually create that life of freedom for ourselves, because that is what we want. Now, if you have not subscribed to the channel, do so that you can be notified whenever we put up a new video. And if you find value in what I've shared with you, and you desire to like share it with someone you know will benefit from this video, then share it with that person, because we need more people in this journey of self-reliance. Because as the whole country is going, the only person that we can rely on is ourselves. Relying on others is not going to like help you to go far as to where you want to reach. That is the essence of this movement. So push out this movement to as many people as possible. Then if you have anything that you want us to all look at, then put it on the comment section so that we can all look at it with you. So God bless you. Until next time, peace.